What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of The Right Class. Today is April 15th, Wednesday, and we will be going over the agenda as well as directions and a few little mini lesson reviews. So let's jump right into it. I have the agenda right up here. This is exactly what you're going to see on Google Classroom, which is your main source, your number one stop for any and all directions and what assignments that you're supposed to be completing. The calendar in the packet is not your guide to what you're supposed to do. Google Classroom is. If you notice, there are some days that I don't do anything out of the packet. That's because I'm not following the packet. I've explained that many times, and I'm going to keep kind of reminding you, this is where you want to be. It will tell you everything you need to do, as well as it will teach you and prepare you for those specific assignments that I've chosen for you to do. So, step number one, as always, attendance check-in. You guys are getting really good with this, so make sure you click on one of those multiple choice answers down here at the bottom, hit that turn in button, and you are done with that step. Step two, watching the video so that you can understand and get all assignments and instructions for what you're supposed to be doing on this particular day. So, let's go ahead and jump right into the very first thing. In your packet, we're going to do the Daily Language and Math, Wednesday, week 16. So when I look at this, up at the top we have use context clues to determine the meaning of the bolded word below. You know, using context clues means that you're trying to determine an unknown word based on how they use it in the sentence. So other clues in the sentence to kind of help you figure out what the meaning of that word is. In this case, the word is alleviate, okay? Give an opinion about each topic. So you know the difference between fact and opinion. Fact is something that can be proven and backed up with data. An opinion is how someone thinks or feels about something. So what they want you to do here is to write a complete sentence with capitalization, punctuation, giving your opinion about sharks and television. So come up with a sentence that gives how you feel about sharks. Maybe you think they're scary. Maybe you think they're cool. You know those words that actually express how someone thinks or feels by giving their opinion based on what you think about sharks and a television, okay? Down here at the bottom you have your correct these sentences. As always, you're trying to find any and all mistakes. Use those editor's marks. Make sure that you go through those carefully so you know what you're doing. Down at the bottom we have our math. Starting off, you have two basic fact multiplication problems. For number 3, you have an input-output, which goes back to kind of patterns and numbers. And basically, this is a function machine, as some of you may remember it. So as you put a number in the function machine, which is the input, the rule does something to it, whether it multiplies it, divides it, maybe it adds or subtracts the number, and then the output is what it comes out on the other side. So if you put a number 3 in the input and it comes out in output, then what happens to that 3 in order to go from 3 to 6? Well, you have to think about the possibilities there, and then if you think you figured out the rule, you need to apply that to each one of these inputs and make sure that you are getting the correct output, okay? So just to kind of jump into a quick little mini lesson on input and output and what is the rule, because you are going to have a quiz basically kind of reviewing your knowledge of patterns and the input-output, what's my rule. There'll be a quiz that will kind of test you on that as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of these example problems here. So this is another way that a pattern problem can be set up, or a what's my rule problem. And so what you have to do is that you look at the number or the information that they're giving you in order to figure out what the rule is. So if I have 23 and then the next number in my pattern is 26, then 29, I have to think, well, you know the strategy that I always have you use, and I want to see this on your assignments. I showed this to you a couple of daily language and math assignments ago, kind of, you know, doing the jumps from here to here. What happens? Well, I know to go from 23 to 26, I have to add 3, so I would put plus 3. And then I told you go ahead and do another jump, make sure that that rule still fits. 26 plus 3 does equal 29, so then I have plus 3 again. So then I make sure that this rule works for every number that they give me. So 29 plus 3, you know, yes, is 32. And then 32 plus 3 equals 35. And then 35 plus 3 is going to be 38. And then 38 plus 3 is going to be 41. Okay? I should see these jumps above your number patterns whenever you're showing work on individual assignments. You know, we've done that a lot in class, but when I went over this last time, a few videos ago, I did not see some of this work shown. So down here it asks what the rule is. In this case it would be plus 3. Okay? Pretty simple one there. One that is a little bit more difficult would be something like this. Kind of makes you think a little bit more, but going from 5 to 10, I know that the only way I can go from 5 to 10 is either by multiplying times 2 or adding 5. So even if I said maybe I want to start with add 5, so I just want to, it's kind of a guess and check situation where you kind of have to you know, figure out what the possibilities are and apply that to the numbers they give you and see if it works. So let's say I want to go with plus 5, okay? So 5 plus 5 is 10, but then I go from 10 to 8. Well, what happens here? Well, I subtracted 2, right? Well, then I go from 8 to 13. What happens here? Well, I plus 5 again, okay? And then I go from 13 to 11. Oh, look, minus 2 again. And then from 11 to 16, I have plus 5. And you can see the pattern, plus 5 minus 2, plus 5 minus 2, plus 5. The next one's going to be minus 2, right? So my next jump, minus 2, I have 16 minus 2 would be 14. And then for the next jump, I'm going to go back to plus 5. So I take 14 plus 5 and I get 19 for the last number in my pattern. So my rule here would be, it is plus 5 and minus 2. Okay? So this is just kind of a quick review, reviewing some of the stuff that we've already worked on this year. It'll help you out with the quizzes. When you go to do that, you are going to do the quizzes after you complete this entire video. And so if you need kind of a refresher before you start the quizzes, make sure that you come back to this part of the video, review it, get yourself prepped and ready to go so that you can do the best possible have the best possible outcome for that quiz score. And I do give you more than one attempt, so utilize that. If you didn't do the best you think you probably could have, you can go back and redo it again. Make sure you have your paper pencil ready before you start the quizzes. You will need paper and pencil, or you can use a whiteboard marker eraser if you have one at home. So, just a kind of quick review on number patterns, input and output, and what's my rule. So back to the daily language and math, we'll finish this up real quick. And so for the daily language and math on number 4, it says, what does 10 hundred thousands equal? So this kind of goes back to place value and base 10. And it says, if I have 10 hundred thousands, so think about what 100,000 is. If you had 10 of those, what number would that make? Okay, so maybe think about multiplying 10 times 100,000 and see what you get. Number 5 is a number story problem. Once again, I'm still getting some papers that are turned in, not underlining and circling. You know, I don't give full credit for problems that don't show work. So make sure you underline the question, you circle the important information. That should not be anything new to you. We've done that since the very first day in my class. So, that's part of showing your work is underlining and circling. Make sure you show any and all work down here. And if it requires a unit, in this case it does, they're working in ounces, make sure you have that unit on the end of it. Okay, moving on to the next assignment, which is going to be the read out of the packet called the birthday wish. Okay, this particular read is what they call a drama, also known as a play. They are made to be acted out or performed in some way, and we've actually performed a couple of plays in my class throughout this year, so you guys are familiar with dramas. Basic setup of a drama. They look different than regular fiction type text, so therefore they're going to give you the characters. In this case it's going to be Gabe, Steph, and a pirate. And then it also has kind of a description here of what the actual scene is supposed to be set up as. So this is Act 1, Scene 1. These first 6 sentences here are basically telling the director how the scene should be set up. Okay, so if you read through that, they're gonna give you descriptive details about the actual scene and what the setting is supposed to be looking like. Then you have your individual lines. These lines are for the characters to actually say whenever it becomes their part to speak and within the actual play. And then you have these little things inside the parentheses that are called stage directions. Okay, stage directions give the actor basically instructions on how to say their part, or maybe they're supposed to do a certain action as they speak their part to kind of give more meaning and kind of up the performance of the play itself. So if you remember in your portfolio, okay, refer back to your portfolio, you actually have some notes in there that we have taken about dramas, okay? And it talks about the characteristics of drama. It goes through everything that I just got done talking about. It talks about the dialogue. It talks about the characters, what the actors, the lines are actually what the characters or actors are supposed to say, stage directions, and then it actually gives you kind of an example of another play, and then we identified all of the actual parts or the elements of a drama and how it's set up. So I'll have this posted on the Google Classroom post for today. You can refer to it there. Also get back into your portfolio and kind of review that information to kind of help you out with this. So before you actually read the play itself, you need to make sure you read the questions and pick your colors for your highlighter. So the first question is elements of drama. Okay, what is the purpose of the first 6 sentences on the script? I just got done talking about that. So if you're really paying attention to these videos and you are really focused on what I'm saying, then I give a lot of hints and clues to a lot of these answers to kind of gauge whether or not you are comprehending the lesson itself. So if you kind of go back and replay this video again if you have to, I talked about that. Sequencing, chronological order, putting events in order of which they happen. Text evidence, you're using a highlighter to support your answer to this question instead of underlining. You know that. We've done that several times already. Elements of drama, we just got done going through the elements of drama. The genre, okay? The genre talks about what is the genre of this script. So they give you some answer choices here: adventure, fairy tale, realistic fiction, fantasy. Okay? And so I have a graphic organizer or an anchor chart that goes through each one of these. So realistic fiction, if you remember, fiction means fake. Okay? Fiction, fake. Fiction, fake. Well, realistic fiction is simply real fake. It just means that it's a made-up story. It's not true, but it could happen in real life. A story that we read in our Journeys book that was realistic fiction is Because of Winn-Dixie, about the girl and her dog. It was a story that was made up by an author, but it's something that really could take place in real life. Okay? So there you have that. Now, fantasy is a made-up story with things that are make-believe, so kind of magical type things. It's not really going to happen. Okay? It can't exist. It's not going to happen. Fairy tale, a made-up story passed down through generations. Another story that is fake. It's not going to happen in real life, but it's more geared towards one of those famous stories that have been passed down by generations. Okay, like Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, that would be a fairy tale. And then, of course, the last thing, answer choice that they gave you on that assignment was talked about adventure. Adventure genre just simply has danger and risk in it, okay? It has a journey and shows a lot of excitement. So just to kind of review those different genres that we've talked about, I will have this on the Google Classroom post so that you can refer back to it as well to kind of help you with the assignment. And so that leaves us with the very last question, which was context clues. And we just got done talking about context clues, so that's pretty straightforward there. I'm not going to go back over that. Okay, so the only other assignment that you have is after you have completed these things out of your packet, there will be a quiz is. Step 3, complete the quiz is, what's the rule? That's the title of it. After you watch the assignment and review video, that's this. The reason why you want to wait until you watch this video before you do the quiz is so that I am teaching you and reviewing the information that you need in order to do well on the quizzes. So that's why it's important to go ahead and make sure that you really watch these videos, guys. I put a lot of hard work and time into these videos for your benefit, not mine, yours, so please utilize them, okay? And make sure that you're viewing the entire video, you're really learning from some of these lessons so that you can help prepare yourself not only for this individual assignment, but for next year as well. So, another reminder, don't forget about your STEM project that is due on Friday. I've already got a couple of those coming in, so continue working on those. I'm seeing a lot of really, really cool things on that. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was the attendance. On Tuesday, we had another 100% perfect attendance check-in. So, great job. Phoenix is super excited. So that means you have 2 days of perfect attendance. That means you have 2 more days of perfect attendance. So please continue to drop some comments down there on the post, encouraging your classmates to get on, make sure you're logging on, checking in, and completing your work, getting that stuff turned in to me, and that way you can stay on top of it. So great job, guys. I really hope you're enjoying the videos, and make sure that you're utilizing them and really learning from them, because that's the main purpose of doing this for you. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can text me, email me. You know how to get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to help in any way if you have questions on assignments. So I hope you guys have a great day. Get busy on that work. And until then, stay tuned.